Once upon a time, in a small backyard, there was a sandbox filled with sandy treasures and hidden wonders. Among the toys scattered about, one little friend lay forgotten, buried beneath a pile of sand and dust. His name was Benny, a small wooden car with a bright red paint job and a wonky wheel. Benny had once brought joy to a young boy's playtime, but as the years went by, he was left behind, replaced by newer, shinier toys. The boy grew up, moved away, and forgot about Benny, leaving him to gather dust in the sandbox. As the seasons changed, winter turned into spring, and the weather warmed up, something unexpected happened. A gentle rain fell upon the backyard, washing away the dirt and revealing a small, hidden compartment beneath the sand. The water seeped into the tiny crevices, bringing life back to Benny's dry, wooden limbs. At first, Benny was confused and disoriented. He had been asleep for so long, his thoughts were foggy, and his body felt stiff from the long slumber. But as he slowly came to, he noticed something peculiar. The sandbox around him seemed different. The colors were brighter, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers. Benny's eyes widened as he took in his new surroundings. He was no longer alone. Other toys had been buried alongside him: a broken doll, a rusty toy horse, and a frayed stuffed rabbit. They all looked just as forgotten and forlorn as Benny felt. But something about the group of toys sparked a sense of adventure within Benny. Maybe it was the realization that they were no longer alone, or the excitement of having a chance to rediscover their purpose. Whatever it was, Benny's wonky wheel began to spin with renewed enthusiasm, and he let out a loud, creaky vroom. The other toys stared at him in surprise as Benny took off, racing around the sandbox with reckless abandon. The broken doll giggled, the rusty toy horse whinnied, and the frayed stuffed rabbit squeaked with delight. Together, the forgotten friends explored every nook and cranny of the sandbox. They built sandcastles, had sand-digging contests, and even staged a game of King of the Mountain atop a pile of sand. For the first time in years, they felt alive, and their laughter echoed through the backyard. As the days passed, Benny realized that he wasn't just any toy. He was a leader, a motivator, and a symbol of hope for his fellow toys. They looked up to him, and he took pride in being able to bring joy back into their lives. One afternoon, as they were taking a break beneath a shady tree, Benny noticed something peculiar. A small, furry creature had wandered into the sandbox. It was a mouse, with bright, curious eyes and soft, fluffy fur. The mouse explored the toys, sniffing and twitching its whiskers. Benny watched with fascination as the mouse interacted with his new friends. The broken doll offered it a toy hand, the rusty toy horse presented it with a horseshoe, and the frayed stuffed rabbit shared its stuffing. Benny, being the natural leader he was, decided to show the mouse around the sandbox. As they explored together, Benny realized that this little creature was more than just a curious visitor. It was an adventurer, an explorer, and a friend waiting to be discovered. The mouse told them stories of hidden tunnels and secret gardens beneath the backyard, hidden from human eyes. Intrigued, Benny and his friends set out on their own adventure, following the mouse through winding tunnels and overgrown grass. They stumbled upon a hidden pond, where they watched fish swim in the sunlight, and they even discovered an old, hollow log that became their impromptu hideout. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the backyard, Benny's friends gathered around him once more. This time, however, they were no longer just playing, they were sharing stories of their day. The mouse had regaled them with tales of its own adventures, and in return, they shared their own experiences. Benny listened intently, his wonky wheel creaking softly as he absorbed the stories. He realized that these toys had once been like him, forgotten, lost, and alone. But now, thanks to the mouse's guidance, they were rediscovering themselves, finding new purpose in this hidden world beneath their feet. As night began to fall, Benny's friends settled into their cozy log, their laughter fading into a contented silence. The mouse scurried off to its own hiding spot, leaving behind a small gift, a shiny pebble that Benny carefully placed around his wonky wheel. The next morning, the sun rose over the backyard once more, casting a warm glow over the toys. Benny took a moment to admire his reflection in a nearby puddle of water. His paint job was faded, but his spirit was renewed. He looked at his friends with newfound appreciation. The broken doll's gentle heart, the rusty toy horse's courage, and the frayed stuffed rabbit's quiet strength. Together, they would explore this magical world beneath their feet, sharing adventures and laughter as they rediscovered themselves. And so, Benny, the little wooden car, set off on his journey once more, leading his friends through hidden tunnels, secret gardens, and the wonders of the sandbox. He knew that he was no longer just a forgotten toy, but a symbol of hope for all those who had been left behind. A reminder that even in darkness, there's always the possibility of rediscovery.